This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warren, Power Tank, and Medical Gear Outfitters.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 287, Catching Up with Dan Cole.
Tonight, Aaron picks some trails, Ben gets wished, and Coy gets a book.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, the podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Aaron, and our guest host, Coy, and we'll be interviewing Dan Cole from the 4x4 Podcast. This week in review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com and get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you'll need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling for a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road kits and that meet your needs. While you're there, use code Off-Road Podcast, all one word, for 10% off. So, what's up, guys? How's it going? Aaron? Coy, welcome back again, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And Dan?
Yeah, you didn't blow it. You didn't blow it enough last week that we had to come back.
Yeah. The magic of editing.
Time.
Now you know what A, B, and C stand for.
I know my ABCs now. Aaron, Ben, and Coy.
Well, if you're on our Facebook page trying to watch it and you don't see it there, my apologies. Facebook is having issues, so we aren't there, but we are live streaming on our YouTube and Overland Radio as well. So we're out there if you need us, if you want to comment and all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, what's new, man?
Well, a lot has been going on for me. I'm leaving in 4 days for a snow camping trip outside of Christmas Valley, Central Oregon area. It's gonna be a good time. For anybody that knows that area, it's behind. I'm going up to the mountains behind the Cowboy Dinner Tree. So that's all I'll say. There's a little Easter egg if you want to go look that up. I'm getting some traction on building my shop. I think I'm getting some traction anyways. Still got to talk to the neighbor and ask him to allow me to build within 5 feet of the property line. You can't build within 30 feet, but if your neighbors agree to it, they'll allow you to build within up to 5 feet of the property line. I've already got a building there and it's already within 6 feet of the property line. So we'll get it. I'm sure he'll say yes. I just have to have him sign something. I've been picking some trails for wheeling in Colorado, like Ouray and Telluride, which is coming up in July. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. And on my way to Christmas Valley, I'm going to stop by and look at a 30-foot camp trailer, which is something my wife wants us to get so that we can do some other than off-road camping. She wants to do some state park camping. So, and she wants to do it in style.
Did you get a new truck already?
The one I'm going to look at actually is all aluminum, and it only weighs like 4,500 pounds empty. So I won't have any problem towing that home.
Oh, nice. Does that mean you're gonna still get a bigger truck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
For farm stuff.
Possibly for the trip to Moab and Colorado. We'll take a flatbed trailer in case the Jeep that's coming with us breaks down. Oh, yeah. And so we can tow a Jeep back if the Jeep even comes. And then farm stuff, and then the trailer, it'll just be better towing that with a full-size truck once it's loaded down with all the, you know what it is with having kids. You've got all of their crap. You got a dog, you got the food, you got the water. Yeah, Dan Cole knows too. So much stuff.
You bringing a wife alone adds so much stuff too.
That's true. Yeah, and then I like to bring everything when I go, so it'll just be nice having something that will pull. I took Monday off of work next week, a week from today, and I told my wife to make sure that she gets all the trucks picked out that she wants so that we can go look at them on Monday. So
Nice.
might be coming home with a truck on Monday.
Well, Coy, what's new, man?
Well, I haven't been up to a lot this week. I was running my still electric battery powered chainsaw, and I'm in love with it. I was running it side by side with my Husky.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're actually cut fairly similar speed wise, but the electric one has so much more torque. You're not doing that working it back and forth and stuff near as much. You just let it go, and it bogs a little bit. You just got to give a little shimmy, and it goes.
I was watching Project Farm's videos. He compared a bunch of the electric saws, and the steel does amazing. I like the build quality of it.
It's more expensive than a lot of the others, but it is a little more robust, I think. So it's and it uses like a real chainsaw chain, not like that little tiny ultra thin, like it's sharp. I can sharpen it and stuff. So that's nice.
One of my local friends, he's a chainsaw weirdo, and he probably has over 50 chainsaws, and the weirder they are, the better. When I brought my Milwaukee cordless one camping one time, he was running it and goofing around with it, and the thing he noticed is that when you put the tip into wood, it wasn't bucking at all. And I don't know if that's a thing. I do know that when you run a gas chainsaw and you touch the tip, it can absolutely kick and come back at you, and that's a dangerous thing. So, but whatever you do with the electric one, it wasn't kicking at all. So I don't know if it's the same with yours or if it's a Milwaukee thing or not.
I think that has to do with the chain profile more than anything. Because
Okay.
I mean, you'll go down to your local chainsaw place. They'll have like green and yellow chains usually, and that's like green are the safest. Yellows are like full chisel. And then if you go to like an actual chain shop, they have like double red where they're like, only use this if you know what you're doing because it'll cut your head off thing. So
all right, I'm gonna go get some double reds as soon as we leave here.
money is
the
best.
yeah,
It's not cutting.
only want the best
I
chain.
updated my Garmin Overlander as well. I guess that counts as off-road news. Like, there's that. And I've been trying to find the back half of an FJ Cruiser cab online to no avail. I mean, I can find them at junkyards, but I'm just hoping somebody's parting one out and I can get it for cheap. But
What do you want to do with that?
I want to basically use the rear fenders off of it to make an off-road trailer that matches my truck. Not one of those crazy, like, following your truck with another truck identical to yours. I just want from like the rear door to the back of it. And I don't want the axle to frame or anything. I'll do all that. But I just kind of want basically the rear quarters from the windows down and the back doors back.
Like a rickshaw, huh? Just enough for someone to sit in it, but not lay down.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna leave the roof part of it. Like it'll be open. So imagine if you're taking an FJ Cruiser and you're putting a pickup, you wanted to cut a pickup bed look to the back of it. That's I want that bed piece. So
gotcha.
That's something I've been wanting to do. So if I can find one cheap enough, I'm gonna do it.
Well, call me up when you're ready to cut.
Yeah, you just want to cup a Toyota.
Maybe Team Broverland, who's in our chat, knows where some wrecked FJs are.
No, he thinks he has the best tan FJ in the chat, but that's only because I'm not in the chat.
Okay.
Well, what about you, Dan? What's new, man?
Well, it's been a long time since we've caught up, so there's been a lot happening. But in more recent news, I've just been stuck at home on quarantine. Came out of the holidays and somehow managed to catch the China virus. So I've been stuck at home.
Got the Rona.
Yep.
How's Big C Little V been for you?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it's been pretty bad. Like I honestly don't know that many people have had it.
No, it's it hasn't been bad. I mean, we got kind of the usual symptoms. The loss of smell didn't really affect the entire family the same way as it did like my wife. Like she legit could not smell anything. I made sure to check by farting around her just to see. I can tell she is getting better.
Oh. So if you think she's faking it, you just cut one just to see if she's if she's getting worse or getting better. It's like, oh, I smell. Oh, she just. Yep. Nice.
Seems to be the most effective way to check. So
It's the olfactory version of stabbing a needle in someone's leg to see if they're really paralyzed.
yeah, that's a way easier to sniff test than it is to get the actual COVID test. But we all did go to the hospital. We all got tested. So my whole family came back positive. So we've been on lockdown, hanging out at the house. So good thing the shelves and fridges were well stocked. So it was good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Hope Saturday Night Live or somebody does a skit on just what we talked about right there. I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been up to, Ben?
Well, geez, so nothing really off road. But I did go shooting with my brother. I've got a younger step half brother thing. He's getting ready to leave for Okinawa. He's going there for 4 years. So we got to hang out. We went and shot some trap. It was my first time shooting trap. Yeah, I gotta watch out. I don't want the coof, Dan. You need your mask. Outside of that, I did really good with the shooting trap though. I was surprised. Out of 20 on our last round, which is like 25 shots, I'm only missed 3. So, and it was the first time I've ever shot it. So yeah. Other than that, I did get to drive a JL at work, with a metal coat game changer lift on it. Oh boy, I'm in love. The miles per gallon on that, plus the miles per gallon, kind of makes me want JL. I'm like half tempted. I just, got to convince the wife that I can afford one. And so that's not going to happen. No
What
Jeep
was
for
it
me.
you liked about the JL?
So,
I mean, besides that, you didn't take it into a ditch.
With
Ah!
ouch.
Yes.
Yes. It was the first time, like I've driven a handful of Jeeps at work, and driving the JL with the game changer lift on it, it was surprising how smooth the ride was. It was it had the Sport Rock shocks on it, and the ride quality was that of like my 4Runner, if not better than my 4Runner. Plus it gets 27, 28 miles per gallon.
So just to hit those points, you're surprised that a brand new $50,000 truck with $6,000 worth of lift on it is almost as good as your 4Runner.
I'm saying solid axle to IFS. I mean, the ride quality of that solid axle compared to my IFS was amazing. And
Does that have the dual rate coil springs on it?
Yes, it did, and those were amazing.
Yeah, I think that probably makes a big difference too.
Oh, probably makes a huge difference. I had just driven the day before a JK with a budget lift on it, and it was just like garbage compared to that. And I still wanted the JK, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it is when Jeremy gets his. I might have to go for a ride and see what he's got. The game changer. I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to start convincing my wife, hey, this is exactly what I want. And it won't work. Outside of that, so I talked about getting my diesel heater, and I went and I picked it up, and what can be best described is I got wished. So it's
where do you put the diesel in that?
Apparently in your eyes,
Sorry.
It's an electric defroster is what it actually is.
That looks like that thing that Link plays,
The ocarina.
Yeah, the little wooden fluty thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I got wished hard. Now I'm arguing with Wish on getting my money back. I'm like, this is not what I ordered. You're going to refund my money. And I'm going to order one off of eBay from a reputable seller or Amazon and pay the extra $30-$40. So
What do you mean gonna? You've had that for like a week now and you haven't
I'm
pulled
waiting for my refund. I'm waiting for my refund. That way the wife's like, why did you just spend $125? And where's that money coming from? Yeah.
Did you not get some stimulus money? Half of that belongs to you, Ben. Don't let her take your stimulus check. That's not fair.
Oh, I'm not even gonna go on that fight.
I was thinking we could like read through one of our junk emails of things that and then to tell you not to buy those things. You know what I mean? Like I have my junk email up here. It's like Tommy Chong's CBD, strange but true. Cancer saved my life, and he'll sell you his CBD. Don't buy that, Ben. That's a scam. These lonely single moms that are trying to contact you, also a scam. Don't try it. Okay.
We're just looking out for you, Ben.
More if you want.
Go for it.
This car insurance survey, trust me, they're not going to send you a quote. They just want your info.
Oh.
This one's Geico. I just put them because I'm tired of them. Compare medical quotes. Do not put your social security number in there, Ben. They're not going to give you a medical quote.
What about the prince from Nigeria? Is he real?
I don't know. Are you related? Or you mean you have any related relatives in Nigeria?
No. So yeah.
So Rick says that is a diesel heater. You can use it to heat your diesel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it'd work really good once.
Yeah. And he also wants to know how you know all those things aren't true, Koi.
Life experiences, you know.
I don't know. If you use that thing to heat your diesel, that's just getting the fire started a lot faster.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Put the flame right next to it.
Is that actually a diesel? Like, what is it that they sent you exactly?
It's a window. It's a 12-volt window defroster. So like an older vehicle, you can hook it up to the existing defrost pipes and run it through there. So if it doesn't have working defrost, this will blow.
So what do you pay for that?
$70.
And it's the one they have at AutoZone for like $8.50.
Yeah, that hooks into USB.
I actually wanted to make fun of you a lot harder, but now I kind of just feel sad.
Nah, I feel sad for me too. I looked at the box and I saw it and I was just like, oh, man, I got wished. This is like as bad as getting Googled, being an Amazon driver and being like, yeah, I have to follow this route. Oh no. And what sucks is I've been in these Chinese diesel heater groups on Facebook, and there's a handful of people that have bought theirs off Wish that got the right item, and I did not. So I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully,
I know somebody that won a free iPad, like on one of those pop-up ads. You know, they spun the wheel and they won 2 free iPads, and they actually sent them 2 free iPads. So it does happen. Like it's real.
Yeah, there's always a chance that it works out, and then there's the chance where you end up like me, and you're just like, that's how someone's getting those 2 iPads right there.
Yeah,
but they didn't pay $70.
Nope.
Now Wish has your PayPal info. I want you to think about that.
Do you feel dirty? You should feel dirty.
Well, at least with PayPal, I can fight it through PayPal too.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the joys of PayPal. There is buyer protection. So yeah, that's the story of my life.
It only protects you from your money. It doesn't protect you from
Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
We also want to thank Patriot Patch, one of our favorite sponsors of the show, for supporting us by posting our network. Hopefully we don't lose that because of Google or somebody because they have the word Patriot in the name. That'd be awful. But they make some awesome patches and shirts and their gun cleaning mats and everything. I don't have any laying right here in front of me to share today. So, and I haven't seen an email. Maybe it's a little too early on what the next patch of the month is for. So that'd be for February. So we'll have to see. I did hear that they have the 4th and final patch coming out in their Apocalypse series, but I think it's being released this Friday. So, oh man, I'm gonna be snow. You might have to buy me one, Ben. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what it is.
Away from work.
Yeah, just set yourself a timer at 11:58.
Probably with the customer, and they'll be gone when I get back.
Well, now that they're doing, I think 200 per run, they seem like they're lasting longer.
Oh, well, that's good.
Although they did say they saved the best for last.
There you go.
Yep.
The news is brought to you by Power Tank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
Well, we got a couple news articles here today. The first one is Ben's next ride, the Toyota RAV4, but it's the TRD model, so can't give him too much crap for it. It's just a review done by offroad.com, and they just go through it and talk about what is actually done with it, and that it's got a little bit of chops to it. It's got terrain modes in it, like mud and sand and rock and dirt mode. It comes with all-terrain tires. Let me see here. Shamefully, now that I pull this up, I haven't looked at this article since I put it on here 3 weeks ago. So
That's a rear locker, wasn't it?
I thought it had either a locker or a limited slip, or it was that electronic brake locking vectoring
track.
It says dynamic torque vectoring all-wheel drive. Yeah, I'm doing terrible on this episode. I'm sorry.
I don't know what torque vectoring means, but it sounds great.
You're a liar. You have to know what torque vectoring means, being in the car world.
Not really.
No?
I mean, I can make some guesses, but I don't really. I'm not a super.
That's like where they apply more power to an outside wheel when you're going around a corner, and it helps push you around a corner, kind of like a limited slip.
See, all my cars, you actually had to just be a skilled driver.
Salty.
Very, very salty. Well, it's not a very exciting article. If you're interested, check it out in our show notes. I'm not going to go any more on this one. I'm sorry, guys. Next one is about Glickenhaus. If you don't know who Glickenhaus is, did you know about him, Coy, before you shared this article?
I didn't know the name off the top of my head, but when I started reading all his achievements, then it came back to me. So
he took like I can't remember if it was an Enzo or something, but he took like an Enzo and made his own Ferrari P4/5, which was like a famous race car Ferrari from back in the 60s or something, completely one-off body and everything else. And then he started building custom race Ferraris, and now he's built something called the Baja Boot. And we talked about the Baja Boot, I think 2 years ago on our podcast, 1.5 2 years ago. It's been a long time, and it's a very custom one-off thing.
I believe it's kind of an homage. Didn't Steve McQueen or somebody drove one, the Baja 1000 in 1967 or something like that?
But I think they took the ideas behind it, and then they added a whole lot of science and engineering to build
the general look of it.
Very capable rig. So he's reaching out, or trying to reach out to Elon Musk, and he wants to race him.
And Elon Musk accepted for the 2023 Baja 1000.
Oh, he did?
He did.
I when I read it, he hadn't replied yet.
So towards the bottom of it says that he accepted.
Oh,
Nice.
So
That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it
Like
will.
one of the benefits of the hydrogen is easy to refill. Last time I was in Baja, which it's been a while, I don't remember seeing many electric charging stations.
Well, yeah, and you're talking what are they going to do? Hot swap a battery out there?
I think they
Yes.
would have to.
That's about the only thing you could do.
I mean,
I feel like Glickenhaus calling Tesla out on this was just like a total like move to get attention on himself because it's kind of BS. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not like he has a actual hydrogen fuel cell that's turning water into hydrogen. Like he still has to. It's no different than putting gas in the car. Like you still got to put hydrogen in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's more efficient, and then it's like, come on, Tesla, like show us what you got. My super custom one-off engineering marvel can beat your factory running down the road Tesla truck.
so with reading this article, I think what it is he's saying that long-term electric vehicles aren't the way to go, and that hydrogen cells are, because they're more efficient long-term.
Well, even as still, I mean, Glickenhaus, I mean, obviously they know what they're doing, but like, it's like one dude. Like, it's not a fleet of engineers sending stuff into outer space and manufacturing cars and robots to build those. Like,
And solar panels for houses and batteries.
yeah,
and-
like I would ask Glickenhaus for advice, but Elon Musk has like an army backing him. So it's like, maybe he knows what he's doing a little bit.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk was, helped engineer a better brick.
And he made PayPal and the Boring Company and Hyperloop.
Yeah,
Yes.
Look up and others that I can't think of right now. But I mean,
just a few things.
look
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
the board brick. It's I watched a guy take one and wreck it, and it took a lot more abuse than a regular brick. So, and they're using that with the boring tunnels.
In the comments of this article, Ben, you might want to check this out. There's a guy named Umair CH, and he says, super fast money earning online job to flood the cash in your bank account every week. He only works 2 hours every day after college, and he made $17,000 last month. So something you might want to check out.
Hey, I might be able to get my Bronco and my Jeep that way, right?
Bird! Oh!
Oh, boy.
Sorry, that was so well placed.
Guys, they really do.
Well, I'm excited that he accepted the challenge because Elon is now the richest person in the world, but probably in the galaxy. And I hope he just throws tons of money at it and is just dominates, because I don't know, it just seems like it'd be fun for the Cybertruck.
Well, aren't a lot of the formula cars electric now?
Just
no,
formulate.
but there is
There's
a
a-
Formula Cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Aaron. I hope that he just, because someone called him out, and I feel like this is kind of a Elon Musk thing to do, is just go out there and just crush them.
Yeah.
Just throw money at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can throw enough money at Baja 1000 to be a success every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a good show, if nothing else.
I
Yeah.
think so, for sure.
He may not win, but he's going to be the only guy that's following his truck with a satellite instead of a helicopter. That's going to be a first. Is he has his own chase satellite. So
Yeah.
Just put the Cybertruck in hover mode. You don't need the suspension at all.
There you go.
we don't need wheels where we're going.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Well, Dan, welcome back, man. It's been how long has it been since you were on the show last?
I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look, but I know it was a long time.
It's
Probably
like
about 4 years.
4 years. Oh
Yeah.
my good. So we've added something since you've last been on. It's called the Fast 5 Facts.
All
You are
right. Old.
Summer or winter camping?
Fall.
Oh. Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
Rocks.
Favorite vehicle brand?
I've been driving a Jeep the longest, but I'm not married to it.
And favorite tire?
It's been BF Goodrich for a long time, but I'm looking at jumping ship to something else new soon.
Ooh.
So,
Do you know what?
so I'm looking at the Milestar. You know, you've seen the Patagonias all over. Seems like.
Might have had them on the off-road podcast for an interview.
Yeah, so I've talked to Martin. I've got a great interview that I just need to eventually get around to sharing on the 4x4 podcast. And, you know, once I mean, it was something I was interested in before talking to him. That's why I, you know, sent him an email. But after that discussion really had me seriously considering, and my wife's truck will need tires first. So looking at getting the all-terrains. The tires on my Jeep still have plenty of life left on them. So those are the KO2s, BFG KO2s. So I'll keep running them on the Jeep for a while. Because I can't bring myself to get rid of tires that are perfectly good. But
You sell them.
Throw away money?
Yeah, the used tire market is not great, I don't think.
There's suckers out there. There's suckers.
I've heard that there are people out here that will spend money on stupid things unwittingly.
The used tire market is better than you think, depending if you live rural enough where there's jobless hillbillies, it's better than you think.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to getting those the Milestar Patagonia all-terrains. And you know, it's shocking. Once the out the door price for the trucks, for the tires for my wife's truck, are basically half the price they were for the BFG KO2s, and they still come with a warranty. So
I'm excited that they're going to make those all-terrains in like a 34.5, 35 narrow, because I would honestly like to run all-terrains in the summer in a narrow and then put my beefcake tires on for the winter.
yeah. Yep. So
I'm excited.
that's what I'm looking at going next.
Nice. Well, we're going to ask you a few questions that maybe we asked you last time, but we probably have some new listeners that don't know about you or haven't heard these stories from you. So we'll kick it off with, what is your most embarrassing moment on the trail? Or maybe you've had a new one since we've talked last.
Yeah. So I don't know if I even answered that one before, but the most recent, almost embarrassing moment was in my work truck, which is a M1097 high mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle, the Humvee. And part of the job is, or one of the perks, they've got these buckle programs, and essentially it's like a geocaching military style. And I was going to this one point in the desert, otherwise known as a PID, and took a wrong route and ended up halfway up a hill that the Humvee could not make it up. And instead of just backing all the way down, the hill was level enough that I could side hill it and actually make the turn around. But in the process, I got it real tippy and it started to get high centered. So I had to extract myself from the side of this hill way up in the middle of nowhere. And I was more embarrassed of having to call for help because of where I was at than I was of actually being stuck. But I was able to use some of my experience and get that Humvee freed and back down the hill safely. So I did not want to be the guy that had a schnook come in and sling my truck off the side of a hill for doing something stupid.
That would have been amazing. Come on. That's content right there.
Oh, man. But it was good and stuck, and it was way out in the middle of nowhere. So, It
Well,
pays to have
now-
some experience driving those things, knowing how to use their torsion differential, the limited slip that we were talking about earlier. Faking the funk since it doesn't have a locker.
Mm-hmm. Do you like hold the brakes and hit the gas at the same time to try to activate that?
Yep, that's essentially what it is. Just enough drag on the brakes so that instead of sending power to the wheel with the least friction, it sends it to both because you've got equal clamping pressure on both the brakes.
Nice.
I explained to a guy how to do that. I was driving a Bronco once. I'm like, yeah, just kind of power brake a little, but kind of let off the brakes. And he's like, oh, okay. And as soon as he tried it, immediately a U-joint exploded. I felt a little
nice.
bad. He just like gave a little gas and just front U-joint just exploded.
Maybe not that much braking. I'm surprised that you said it was a Ford. Was it a Bronco or what was it?
It was an older Bronco that he 4PT swapped. It was actually a pretty neat rig, but we had to take two-wheel drive out a lot of snow for a long ways after that.
Yeah. I mean, once you upgrade to that kind of torque, you're pushing the fuse to somewhere you don't necessarily want it. But, U-joint's not that bad.
It's not that bad to fix, like when you get home, but like we had to tow him a long ways.
Oh, wow. May want to bring a spare U-joint.
Yeah. Now that we've heard your worst fail or most embarrassing moment, what's your biggest win? That one you couldn't wait to go home and tell your wife.
I don't know if there's been one of those. There's some of those that are like, that was really good. Hey kids, don't tell mom.
That's good.
There's been a couple of those.
Let's reframe it this way. The one where you're, everybody's at work, you're in that little huddle and guy's telling his off-road story. They're telling yours and you start to tell yours and like, we've heard it. And you're like, I know, but it's a good story. So you listen to it again. That story is the one I want to hear.
It's funny. I don't do a lot of the storytelling myself because I'm usually off-roading with enough other people that they'll tell the story for me. And a lot of my driving is at night in blackout drive, where it's just NVGs, no headlights. And there's a very experienced warrant officer. And he was on this trail right in front of me, and I watched him bury his truck in the sand. And, we're supposed to be the coaches out in the desert. Part of my job. We're not the ones that are asking to be rescued. And so I tried to coach him through like how to get out of the sand pit that he dug himself into. And finally I said, bro, just get out of the truck. And I jumped in his truck and drove the rest of the way up the hill. And this, 6'8" tall warrant officer comes strutting up the hill and everybody's just looking at him like, why is your truck here and you're not? What happened? So then everybody else had to tell the story. But again, just knowing how to that left foot brake and get traction going to all four tires makes a huge difference.
So is there any places that you haven't gone that you want to go?
Oh, there's tons of places. And even some of the places that I've been to, I'd like to go back and spend more time. Like I would love to go. I had plans to do the Rubicon Trail this last summer, and those plans were completely destroyed by the COVID. So I still, I've lived in California almost 3 years now, and I don't think I'm going to get to do the Rubicon before I have to move. So I'll save that trip for another time. But that's right there at the top of my list. But fortunately, I live like an hour and a half from Johnson Valley, so I can't complain.
Well, I mean, hey, you could do it on your way out of California, right?
Depending on where it is I'm going.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So we'll see. But Rubicon Trail way up there on the list for now.
We had to skip me, Coy. You're up.
Oh, I did not know that. Sorry, some of our listeners may not know who you are. Can you give us a short synopsis of who you are and kind of what you've done and how you've gotten into podcasting?
Yeah, so I was stationed in South Korea and did not take my Jeep with me. Didn't do a whole lot of off-roading while I was there. So a friend talked me into starting the 4x4 podcast as a way to kind of stay plugged into the off-roading community. And it was really kind of filling a niche that was wide open. The Jeep Talk Show, or at the time it was just the XJ Talk Show, was in existence. But Tony over there wasn't doing a lot with the show. And if you've listened to the Jeep Talk Show, you'll know Tony is not a big off-roader. He built his Jeep as a hurricane escape vehicle. So when I started, there wasn't any real other off-roading podcasts out there. So that started in 2011, coming up on 10 years now. But it's just a hobby that really kind of blossomed into a lot more. And then, if you look at the episodes, I think I've done 158 in 11 years. So not a lot. But I've produced episodes from lots of different countries. My work keeps me traveling fairly often. But coordinating schedules with co-hosts is a chore. Plus my employer keeps me extremely busy and on the road, as it were. So I assume all the listeners that know that I have an active duty military background, they're pretty understanding of that.
So, being in the military, you've moved around a lot. What's been your favorite place to live, and why did you pick Alaska?
So Alaska was hands down my favorite place to be stationed. And it's not because of the off-roading. Most of the trails around Alaska are, ATV or not even side-by-side trails. Like you can fit some of them side-by-side down those trails, but I was stuffing that Jeep Cherokee down ATV trails where I'm hitting bushes on both sides at the same time. There's no place to turn around until you come to something different. But, I'm an avid outdoor person. So that is Mecca for everything hunting and fishing, which I do enjoy. I had caribou baked potatoes just this evening before we came up here. So, but yeah, I've been all over the place.
Have you had the caribou ice cream?
Caribou ice cream? I have not. That sounds horrible.
Amazing.
I think you guys are talking about two different things there.
Caribou ice cream from Safeway.
It's like Moose Trap.
Like caribou brand. All right, no. I'm not drinking liquefied caribou. That's disgusting. Frozen or otherwise.
So you recently went back to Alaska, I think I saw on social media. What'd you go up there for?
So part of being a resident of Alaska, you have to maintain your residency to remain eligible for things like the permanent fund dividend, where the state of Alaska does in fact pay you to live there. But the homeschool program that we use for my family, for my kids, they use the PFD qualifications as the measuring stick on whether or not you qualify to keep having your homeschool program subsidized. So we went back so that I could, maintain currency on residency, but it also works out well that, you go up there, time it right with a hunting or fishing season. So this trip, it was aligned with the winter caribou hunt. The last time I was up there, it went with the salmon run, and I brought home, I don't know, it was like 80 some pounds of salmon. But this time I came back with a little over 100 pounds of caribou. So
very nice.
Sounds delicious.
It is. It was also a lot of work cutting up 2 caribou and getting them fully processed. But then getting them frozen, funny enough, like we didn't have enough freezer space, but luckily it was -10 outside. So we just put all the vacuum seal packets spread out on the deck where none of the critters could get to it. And it was frozen within 24 hours, like super solid, hard frozen. So
you're
curious on how you brought that back down to California.
3 coolers. I had to spread the weight out over 3 coolers. So that way 2 of them were under the 50-pound limit. And then one of them, I just paid the fee. Say it could be up to 100 pounds. So that thing was 93 pounds, I think, the one cooler.
Nice.
So, yeah, just keep them nice and frozen, and it stayed frozen all the way back from the interior of Alaska all the way down through Southern California. And that's with it was like a 12-hour, 14-hour layover in Seattle. So it helps that I'm a professional logistician. Like, that's what I do for the Army. So solving problems like how to get frozen meat halfway across the United States or more, that's not too difficult.
So your time in California is coming to an end, I'm assuming. Do you have any idea or any thoughts of where you want to go next?
Well, where I want to go next is not necessarily where I will be going. And I won't find out for sure until sometime next month. I should find out. But as it stands right now, it looks like I'll be heading back to Korea. But it also could be Germany, could be Kansas, it could be someplace that haven't even thought of yet. So who knows?
Does that vary with your job, like on where you'll go? Does it limit it, or is it any base then?
So fortunately, my particular field is in hot demand pretty much everywhere. But I should be getting promoted here in a few months. So that's going to kind of narrow it down a little bit. There's a lot less positions available for the rank that I'll be at. So I don't know. I'll find out.
When they roll the dice, you'll find out.
Yeah, so there's a dartboard somewhere with my name on it, and we'll see.
That dartboard,
Hopefully just your name, not your face.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of names, not enough room for faces.
I have a good friend that's an Army recruiter, and so it's same. I assume the same kind of thing every 3.5 years or whatever. He bounces to the next spot. And I met him. He had been in the Army like years, 15 years or something. And I met him, and he was in Oregon, where he was from, and we became good friends over that 4 years. And then boom, he went to New Mexico or someplace. And then it was like that 4 years, and I'm like, where's it going to be? Come on, is it going to be closer? And it's like, Missouri. And so the next one's coming up, and he just texted me the other day. It was like, I'm going to Seattle. I can see you again. It's just like,
there you go. Yeah, I really haven't lived anywhere close to my family since I joined the Army, and I'll be having let's see. So I'm coming up on 17 years. So it's been a while.
So is this going to be your last?
There is a potential that this move is the one that takes me through 20 years. So we'll see. I'm excited. After going back to Alaska, the itch to get back there like full time, it's pretty strong. So
I remember you talking about buying a piece of property in the middle of nowhere. I think you were asking on social media, should I do this? What do you guys think? Kind of thing.
No, that same piece of property is still available. Turns out there's not a lot of people competing to buy undeveloped, hard to reach property.
Yep.
One of the things they're not making any more of, but it's still there. But it wasn't the kind of place that you just go and live on full time. It'd be more like a base camp for other adventures. So
nice.
Every time you want to feed the mosquitoes, you go hit your cabin.
Yeah. Well, so it's down just north of Denali National Park is where I was looking at. And there are some tremendous hunting locations right there. So it's great in the fall. But then in the winter, one of my favorite drives of all time is the Denali Highway, which goes from Paxson and Cantwell. So it's about 137 miles of dirt highway when it's when you can see the road. But otherwise, it's 137 miles of unmaintained snow highway. So I've always wanted to go down there and load up a fuel tank, an extra fuel can or something on a snow machine and go buzzing across. But that's not the kind of thing you go there and back because there's no gas stations except for at the one end. So maybe if we did it, I'd have to start from one side, hit the gas station, then go all the way back. But that's a multi-day adventure on a snow machine. So back to your winter camping idea, that doesn't get any more winter than I don't know, January, February, interior of Alaska.
Ooh, yeah.
That's I have to make movies about.
How far was it, you said?
It's 137 miles of dirt. So there's some pavement at each end of the highway, but at some point it runs out and it's not paved.
But you're talking about doing it on a snow machine or snowmobile?
Yes. So for everybody in the lower 48, it's the snowmobile.
I know I have friends that are snowmobiles, and 138 miles in Oregon. Like, I know guys that do that in like an hour 45. Like, is it like crazy terrain then or something as well?
Yeah. So there's some sections. I mean, it's totally not maintained by anything. There's no services, no nothing. And depending on who I ride with, like I know there's some folks who I could, like in 2 hours, we blitzed 80 miles of single track in the middle of nowhere. But most people are not up to that kind of riding. You know, if you're out for a casual ride and you're going about 30 miles an hour, that's pretty ambitious. But the guy that I did, our 80-mile loop, we were cruising around 70. So, which is fast. That's real fast.
I know a guy that he'll like unload up by Hoodoo, which is a pass near me, but his friends are in the next pass down, but it's faster for him to just launch his snow machine at 70 miles an hour all the way through the mountains down there than it is to actually trailer from his house there. So he'll just drive an hour as fast as he can on the snowmobile and then meet his friends there. I mean,
well, if you're doing it by yourself, that's easier too. You don't have to worry about, staying in contact with anybody. And depending on what the weather is, it's not often you get bluebird, beautiful skies in that area. And if you're going flat sky, trying to go fast across white snow, it's impossible to see. Those guys, there's an Iron Dog race. It's like a snow machine endurance race in Alaska, and those guys are insane. I don't know how they do that. So, plus there's limited
across Alaska.
It's like 2,500 miles, multi-day race. I'll have to look it up, but it's the Iron Dog. I don't know. It's madness.
So have you bought or sold any rigs in the last 4 years? Still rocking the XJ?
Yep, still got the XJ. It is running stronger than it ever has because I guess that's one of the benefits of the COVID lockdown is I had plenty of time to get after some maintenance that I'd been ignoring, replace some leaf springs, shackles, a bunch of suspension work, the engine mounts, the 4-liter Jeeps are notorious because they've got an engine mount that's right next to where the exhaust manifold dumps out and it just cooks the one side. So that's been overdue for a long time. Yeah, I've been able to get after a lot of that, so it's running great. But I guess it was about 6 months before I left Alaska. We bought a Ram 1500 Eco Diesel for my wife, and it did not like the Arctic particularly well. The DEF system and the throttle controls just did not like being run at -40. There's no surprise there. But we haven't had any issues with it since then. So it's been great. I've had that for, I guess, 3 years now, and looking at it, I think it's been about 2,200 or 22,000 miles per year on it. Down here in Southern California, it's lots of long drives. Of course, driving from the interior of Alaska down to Southern California with a detour that somehow took us through North Dakota. That added a lot of miles, but it's been running great. I really like that truck.
Have you modified it at all, the Ram specifically, or are you planning to modify it? Have you changed anything on it?
So I had real big plans, doing some fun stuff with it, in terms of modifications. But at this point, having not done anything more than just a tonneau cover, I'm going to wait until we find out. If we're going overseas, I'll probably sell the truck. I'm not going to pay to have it just sit in storage. And I'm not taking a full-size truck like that to South Korea if I can avoid it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Where's your sense of adventure?
It could be done. However, it would not be fun.
There's
So,
not a lot of claim centers in Korea for Dodge.
No, but I mean, you can buy a hoopty Hyundai or Kia for next to nothing. It'll run on hopes and dreams for the entire time that I'm there, and I won't have to spend any money on it. So I did last time. I had a Hyundai Ranger, just like a 4-door sedan, and in the 3 years that I was there, I put 70,000 kilometers on that car, which was a lot.
What is that in bald eagles?
About 50,000 miles. But my wife had a Hyundai Galloper, which looked very similar to a Land Rover Discovery, like a high-back SUV. It actually had seat belts for 9, so it had 2 seats that drop down in the cargo area with 2 seats or seat belts for 2 passengers on each side, plus the bench seat in front of that, and then the 2 captain's chairs up front. It was a great truck. My wife really wanted to bring that one home, but I don't think that would have passed. It was not yet able to be imported. It wasn't old enough.
Yeah. Isn't there some rules about that if you live there about bringing it back? Where you can?
I don't know. I never really looked into it.
Well, if you
I've
don't-
only heard that one time, like if you lived overseas that you can bring a vehicle back, but I've only heard it once and I haven't heard it substantiated. Everything I know is the 25-year gray market import.
Jeremy had mentioned something about it too.
And I think it depends on where it's from, and what it is. So, like, a newer Hyundai car, you might be able to get away with it if it's also sold in the United States. Like I saw tons of the Genesis vehicles while I was in Korea, but that was before they brought the Genesis to North America. Now you can probably do that. But like a BMW, obviously, it's something that's sold here already. You could get it there. But the Hyundai Galloper was not sold here in the United States ever. A little 4-cylinder diesel engine, mechanical injection, seats for 9, 5-speed manual transmission. It was bulletproof. Like it was a legit little SUV. It would have been a fun one.
Did it say Galloper in English on it? Because I feel like that's like a mistranslation. Like is Galloper a word?
Yeah, it was definitely spelled out all in regular English characters.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yep.
Part of me hopes that you get sent to Russia for some reason. I don't even know if we have any bases in Russia, but I just love to hear about you. You're not bringing cars with you. Have you drive some Russian cars?
Yeah, that would be fun. If nothing else, just to have the dash cam videos.
Yes. Yes. You know who you could talk to about dash cams?
Oh man. Sure do.
Yeah.
Had that conversation.
Good.
Did you live in Alaska when they filmed the Alaska Off-Road Warriors Challenge series up there?
No,
was
no,
that?
they had done that before I moved up there. But you
Did
know,
Alaska that favorably? They think that's a good representation of Alaska.
no, it's
They don't like it.
super hokey. A lot of those routes where they said they were like way off in the middle of nowhere, they're just like running perpendicular to the highway. They were never that far away from the road system. I do know some of the folks who were involved in it. I saw one of the vehicles just kind of parked in somebody's front yard. It was the Land Cruiser there in Fairbanks. But then there's the Land Rover guy lived down in Wasilla, just down the road from one of my friends. But no, not a great representation of off-roading in Alaska.
I've had the pleasure to meet Jim Jantz and seeing that Super Jeep of his. He's from Washington, so he makes the rounds. He actually comes down and snow wheels near where I live sometimes.
Was he driving the Super Jeep?
I saw him once at the Northwest Overland Rally, and he was driving the Super Jeep there, and then he went to like this snow wheeling event near where I live, and he brought the Super Jeep then as well.
I don't think I've ever seen him drive anything but the Super Jeep. I know he's got another rig that he's been using lately, though. So, if for some reason the XJ gets stolen or totaled, have you thought about what you'd replace it with?
Many times. That is a conversation topic that's come up many times. And, if I were to replace it with something, I would be looking very seriously at the Jeep Gladiator. But then I go back and forth, like, it's not a great Jeep and it's not a great truck. I would rather have, but I do want to have a Jeep where I could throw a dead animal into the back when I go out hunting, not have to use, one of the hokey cargo carrier things. So I don't know. Maybe a Power Wagon. That's probably, if I had to make a choice today, it'd probably be a Ram Power Wagon. Because that is both great off-roading and it is a really good truck.
Aaron, your sound's not working. Now it's all weird.
They have their phone next to the mic.
No, that's Aaron's connection. Something's up with it. Try plugging it in and out again. No, power off. Yeah.
I was over here with my phone. Like, is it me? I don't know.
I was thinking it was you because I saw you
hokey pokey with your cell phone.
Well, I know it'll do that sometimes, and I'm like, no, it's still doing it. There, it's better, Aaron.
You're muted now, Aaron. Unmute.
How about now?
You fixed it. Keep doing that.
Did you
doing
put
that.
your speaker in the living room?
You're on the wrong mic.
Hold, please.
Holding. This is a great pod.
What do you want me to hold on to? My microphone? Headphones? Is it back? Nope, it's back. It's gone again. Nope. Oh man, something's up with your interface. Switch back to the other mic.
It's like Aaron is mimes doing podcasts today.
Yeah, he's miming his the podcast. He's become frustrated.
You seriously have nothing electronic around your mic. Your phone's not touching the XLR cable or something.
Something's up with his XLR interface to his.
That's weird.
There it goes.
Oh. Well, I've moved you to my headphones. Maybe the audio is going to suck, but we only got a few minutes left. We'll just have sucky audio for the rest. Looks like my XLR popped out of the back.
That'll do it.
So Dan, you've talked about e-bikes off and on recently. Have you pulled the trigger on one of those yet, or are you still looking?
No, I've got one. I've got the Rad Rover. So it's a fat tire bike. It's got 4-inch wide tires, fenders, a rack on the back, and I've got over 1,700 miles on that e-bike, just commuting and using it as a workout bike. When you shut the motor off, you get a really good workout pedaling that big, heavy bike. It weighs, I don't know, with the rack and the panniers on it, it's probably 70 pounds. So it's a heavy bike. But yeah, it's great for commuting. I've only got now I think it's like 1.5 miles to work. So, you can rack up miles pretty quick if you're just doing a lot of short trips to the office, back home for lunch, and back home or back to work. And which has saved the Jeep from a lot of those short trips. It's the really short drives that are the worst for a vehicle like that. So that saved me a lot on maintenance cost.
Can you beat my factory built Honda CRF in the Baja 1000?
No, probably not.
Okay, see, electric.
I do have Tesla batteries inside there, but no, I cannot do that. I joke that I live inside a gated community at the end of the longest cul-de-sac in the world, because once you leave the main gate, you have 31 miles of highway before you get to the next highway, before you get to a town. So we're way off here. I wouldn't even want to pedal all the way down to the end of the cul-de-sac and back.
Do you live in one of those fake towns they built to test nuclear bombs at or something?
No, that's the next town over. That one's over there.
That's where the grocery store is.
Yeah.
You mentioned you daily military vehicles, which makes us all a little jealous.
You should be.
What is your daily military vehicle driver? And have you ever modded your military vehicle in a little bit way,
Yeah.
customized?
So in terms of drivetrain and everything, I have not modified my Humvee. But I basically live out of that truck for 2.5 weeks every month when we're doing the training, which is most of the time, except for, this last COVID year. But my favorite mod, so here we are at the edge of the Mojave Desert, or squarely in the middle, depending on how you measure it. It gets really hot. And so it's like a mister system for the water. So I've got this little water hose that runs around the top, because the Humvee does have a top. It doesn't have doors or a back. I didn't have a windshield. But the line runs around there and it goes down into a pressurized tank, like a pesticide sprayer tank. You push the handle and it pumps it up. It was never used for pesticides, but you put the water in there with some ice, pressurize it, and you open up that valve and you get this nice, cool water mist. And since it's negative 10% humidity out here in the Mojave, you get that swamp cooler effect inside a topless or doorless vehicle. Pretty sweet. Lots of envy from my peers. That's been my favorite mod. Otherwise, it's just, put a Pelican cooler in the back with my little souped up bivy cover swag tent, and the Scottle. That's about all I need.
Did you put an awning on it at one time?
Yeah, I did. Turns out the amount of off-roading that I do, I'm driving, it's about 1,000 miles, off-road miles during each rotation. And that conduit pipe awning, was didn't hold up especially well. So
have you seen?
Instead, I switched to just some pieces of camo net where I can just drape it over the sides and let the air come through. But it works.
Have you seen, in the car racing world, they make something called a cool suit? It's like a T-shirt with a whole bunch of surgical tubing on it.
Yeah. I actually had one. I found one sitting in a desk drawer one time. I never used it just because others said that it doesn't work that great. And just getting in and out of the vehicle and moving around as often as we do, it was cumbersome. But conceptually, I love the idea.
We used it with our chump car racing, and it was amazing. So you do like a 2-hour stint, and it would last most of the 2 hours. It just has quick releases on it. It's just 2 hoses and in and out, and you just push the button on it. So it wasn't too bad for driver swaps.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe I only had the vest and not the rest of the system. That may there's a vest and a cooler. Inside the cooler is a pump, and then inside the cooler you also put, like, what we did was we used frozen water bottles and then put some water in with the frozen water bottles. That way the water always stayed in there, and all you had to do was change out frozen water bottles. Yeah, that probably would have worked pretty well anyways, but like I said, I only found the vest hidden in a desk drawer.
Yeah. You got to cycle cold water through it for it to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Pelican coolers do a great job of keeping food and everything cool, but not a lot of other creature comforts in those military vehicles.
Nope.
But that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, it's been really good catching up with you and having you on the show. Thanks for coming on, man.
Really thanks for having me on. I like hanging out with you guys. Wish it was, not in a virtual space, but, take what we can get.
Well, I'm glad we're not hanging out together right now with your Rona.
That's all right. They'll let me free tomorrow.
You said they let you free tomorrow?
Yeah, they should be, yeah.
Oh, I just
whether or not that
means
I don't have it anymore, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Are you gonna be able to hook up with Daniel Gruters and go race in the desert with him?
So yeah, I saw that he was talking about going out President's Day weekend or the weekend after, do some testing out in Johnson Valley. And by that point, like I said, I'll be out of COVID jail. And I talked to my wife, and she said, "Oh, are we gonna go? Can we go?" Like, yeah, let's go. So the last time we went out for King of the Hammers, my wife had something else going on, so it was just the kids and me for Saturday. And my wife came home, and the kids could not stop talking about watching everything out there, and said, "Hey," she was interested. So we went back out the next day for Sunday and watched all the festivities. It was a good time. So the fact that it's so accessible, I got it. Johnson Valley's way out in the middle of nowhere. Not a lot of services out there. But at that point, we will have been, we don't have to worry so much about catching coronavirus because we've checked that box. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on for King of the Hammers, getting ready for it, but just, looking forward to being out there and helping get that Nissan Xterra shakedown complete. So he's ready. So I have to dig out my race suit and helmet again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm also jealous. So very cool.
If nothing else, I'll probably help him turn some wrenches and get it put back together. It's still being built as we speak, I think.
It's been being built for a long time. Yeah, that's how those projects go, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Is he competing in like the Everyman Challenge, or what's it class is it going in?
No, he's not doing King of the Hammers. That's a Best in the Desert racer that he's building, I think. So it's just going out there because it's wide open desert and available to go testing. If he were smart, he'd just come out here closer to me around Barstow, California. That's where a lot of the desert racers do their testing, at the Stoddard Wells off-road vehicle area, and just the wide open desert that's around here. So it's funny. There's a restaurant, the /X Cafe, which is really most accessible by going off-road, and they cater to the off-roading crowd. I pulled up there one Saturday, and there was pre-runners, actual full-on race trucks, side-by-sides, ATVs, dirt bikes, Jeeps, all just jammed into this little parking lot. Everybody's out there getting burgers and drinks in the middle of the desert. It was a good time. That's a cool place. /X Cafe. If you're in the Southern California area, you have to check that one out.
That's cool. Well, we want to thank everyone who listens to us weekly and everybody who's watching us live on YouTube and on Facebook. We really appreciate you guys. Make sure you share us with your friends. Help our podcast grow. Trying to get through some hurdles this year. We've got some goals we're trying to achieve. And just want to mention we really appreciate you guys. And also, God bless America.
We are a proud part of the Firearms. Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening.
And don't get wished.
Yep.
It's always